Welcome to this video on actually performing a job interview. First thing that you need to remember is that it's a date. So that means that it's about two parties trying to find a good match. So if for some reason you are not invited to the second round, that does not imply anything about your intrinsic qualities or capabilities. It just may be that there is a mismatch in what you expect or what the organization expects, and once you've established that, you just move on and try to find an organization where you do have that match. But having that outset is very important. It's not about going to an exam and giving right answers. It's about trying to show who you are or what you feel you can do, and then presenting that, and then also trying to gauge whether the organization can give you what you want. Secondly, of course, we keep coming back to this killer points. You've prepared them, you've put them in the CV, slip them in somewhere. Don't wait to be asked. If you get a question, you think you can turn it into that killer point, say it poignantly so that it sticks into the minds of the recruiters. Thirdly, make sure that you talk enough. Research has shown that a 60-40 balance between the interviewee and the interviewer is ideal. That does not mean that you should be doing all the talking. So there's more kind of like a conversation going, where you do a bit more of the talking because the other party is mainly interested in what you have to offer. But it's definitely more conversation than one-way direction. More research input shows that you need to match the discourse. Now that means that words and expressions, slang, jargon that is used by the recruiter, that if you're able to match that, to copy it, or to use the same words from the same semantic field, that creates some kind of report, some kind of link with the other person. You and I, we both know what we're talking about. We belong to the same group because we talk the same talk. Now, of course, the main danger here may be that you're going to start to do some name or term dropping, which is okay, but you better make sure that you know what you're talking about. Otherwise, you may be up a creek without a paddle. If anything, any jargon is unclear to you and you feel that it is important, do not hesitate to ask for more clarification. This will not look poorly on you unless it's truly the basics. But then, of course, we know that there is no match. That was where we all started from. The idea of it being a date rather than an examination. Fifth tip then is very important. Most people talk a lot because you prepared your killer points, you're mentioning all your killer points, but you're not listening to summary statements that the recruiter is making. Quite often the person is going to, at the end of a certain part of a question, rephrase what you just said. This gives you an ideal opportunity to jump in and to give some clarification, to add some nuance. And please take up that opportunity to make sure that you and the recruiter are on the same page. Even if that's 5 minutes later, if you think that you still need to add something to a prior point, you just mention that politely and try and work that in. That also implies that you can ask questions during the interview, as soon as they present themselves. In this way, what you get is not the examination style, but the conversation style, the 60-40 kind of balance that you have, the ratio in the amount of talk that you do and the recruiter does. Seventh tip, and the final tip for this video, is don't be too afraid to ask for some time if you get a procedural question. A procedural question would be something like, how would you approach a certain situation? And then you get a hypothetical question, a situation, a case. Then you could say something like, well, can I just take 30 seconds to write some things down? And do take that time and do jot down some things. Or you could say something like, well, let me just think out loud. And out loud thinking, you just say some things and then you try to qualify those statements, try perhaps to change them, that you find that your initial idea wouldn't work because of a certain reason. And by thinking out loud, people can get into your mind, and it's a very powerful trick and very convincing indeed. More tips for the interview to follow.